Welcome to the Danger Jamin podcast. All right, it is December 2nd, 2020. The time is currently 12:07. I had a cat perched on my shoulder just now, and he just jumped down. So I'm going to officially be calling this episode 0 of the Danger Jamin podcast. I don't even know if I'm going to be naming it that, to be honest. But I'm here. We've got 2 cats with me. I am here up in my master bedroom, which is essentially a finished attic space. So I've got a nice little tapestry up. I've got some posters. One says, we don't need to get into that now, but I got a mattress behind me. And hopefully this pillow top mattress helps kind of absorb some of the sounds. Now, I do live right on the side of a railroad track, so I'd say about 5 times a day I get a train coming through. And it gets pretty loud, so we'll see if we end up hearing that here. So I did my absolute best to soundproof the room. I am sitting here on top of a shag carpet. I've got as many pillows as I could find. I got all the pillows in the darn house, and a mattress and some blankets, and I got some of that foam padding that you might find in like a pelican case. We got that up against the walls. So if you've ever seen an attic finished into a recording studio, then I guess you can kind of imagine what I've got going on. I have a 10-year-old laptop sitting here in front of me that thankfully somehow works. And I've got a desktop microphone hooked up to my cell phone, believe it or not. I've got a USB to Type-C connector, and that's just plugged into my cell phone, and I'm essentially recording a voice memo. So the reason I'm doing episode 0 is because I need some help. I need some ideas. I'm not sure exactly which direction to take this, but I know that as long as you got a podcast and as long as you can keep talking, I guess those are the two. I mean, if you can keep talking, then you can have a podcast. I don't know. I get a lot of crazy ideas in my brain, and who knows, maybe I'll throw a couple your way, but I truly appreciate the 3 people joining me here today. Take a little swig of that Vita ice. I used to drink 2 Monsters a day, and usually both of them would be done before noon. So it's been about 2-3 months. I think like 3 or 4 months I haven't had an energy drink. So I completely stopped drinking energy drinks because I know I'm quite a large human being, and I'm going to need as many years on that ticker as possible. I like to think of it as I'm a Great Dane. So I'm 5 feet 20 inches tall, and Great Danes don't necessarily live the longest lives. So we're trying to take care of that ticker, a little bit of cardiac improvement in our lives. So because I am recording this from a cell phone, I've got to figure out how to make this last as long as possible, because the only charging port is currently being taken up by this microphone. So I'm hoping the audio is okay for you. I do have a Canon Rebel T6, and I do plan on using that as the podcast progresses. I don't have any guests ready yet. I do think that having a guest on the podcast is going to be a much easier way to keep it flowing. But at least for episode 0, I'm thinking that maybe we can do a bit of an intro to who I am. So my name is Jamin Vanderhayden, and first let's get a word from our sponsors, which is Dangerous Decorations. I appreciate you so greatly for sponsoring this podcast. We will see how it goes, but I appreciate all the investment that Dangerous Decorations has put into this endeavor. That being said, now I'll get into who I am. So I am Jamin Vanderhayden, Jamin, Jamin. No, not Jasmine. Jamin. We be Jamin. I am 27 years old. I was born and raised in a little town, a relatively mid-sized town in Rockford, Illinois. So that's, if you're not sure, dead center in the middle of the United States, we are considered the breadbasket of the world. So now that I got that intro out of the way, a lot of people ask me, what do you do? And I do a little bit of everything. As it sits right now, I have a standard old 9-to-5 working for a Japanese company. So this Japanese company, I won't name the name, but it rhymes with fajita. So I am slowly but surely learning a little bit of Japanese. I've had, the 2 years of Spanish education in high school, and it's been fantastic being able to build on that over the years. But being the kind of person I am, I can't do the same thing for terribly long. So I tend to jump from task to task or from job to job or sometimes from state to state. As it sits right now, I am nestled in a tiny little town called Irene. And the town logo is essentially everyone do whatever the fuck you want. And whenever you hear gunshots, you go towards them, you don't go away from them. That's what kind of town I live in. Population 12. So nestled down in here in the cornfields, up in this attic with a bunch of pillows, bunch of mattresses, and hopefully my voice coming across all right to you guys. So I born and raised in Rockford. As soon as I got my driver's license, I was put to work. Luckily, had 2 fantastic parents that are still together this day, 30-something years. But both parents run businesses. My father's business would be advanced chimney systems. If you're local, you've probably heard the advertisements or I think it's hilarious. I gotta love local commercials, and then on top of that, when those local commercials are your own parents, and then you can cut pieces from them, and then use that as your ringtone for your parent. Whenever my dad calls me, I cut a little 2-second clip from one of his commercials. Now, whenever he calls me, it says, "A long winter is ahead. Are you ready?" Like he doesn't know how to read a question mark. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's so hilarious. So if you're in the Rockford area and you're looking for an alternative source of heat, be it wood burning or gas burning, head on down to Advanced Chimney. My dad is great. And so I started out, as soon as I got my driver's license, started out working for my dad, good old Advanced Chimney Systems. And by the time, I was with a learner's permit driving around a truck for him, making sure that they know how I know how to back up a trailer, which was fantastic. I feel like the earlier a kid can get put into those positions of driving a big vehicle, a big trailer, the better a driver it makes you down the long haul. If you have a 3500 that you're driving when you're 16 years old, once you get that Honda Prius, it's going to feel like you can drive anywhere you want like a badass. So that's what I did. I got myself the Prius of all pickup trucks. Got myself one of them Nissan Frontiers with that king cab for a real king, I tell you what. And it's treated me all right. But Advanced Chimney Systems, I worked there for a collective of 10 years. So my first spout was about 2 years from the age I was 16, still living in the parents' household, to the moment that I pretty much moved out, and then I came back to it. So I'd say collectively around 10 years. I wouldn't count, I was 6 years old with a push broom, brooming up all this dust. I guess you could say that, but that's, child labor laws, don't want to get nobody in trouble. I remember there was this one time where my dad had me taking a chop saw to some 2x4s to get them chopped up nice and good for some kindling. And I remember my mom comes in, and she's like, "Oh no, you don't have this 5-year-old using a chop saw without supervision." My dad gets in trouble a lot, but that's how good relationship works. Ebbs and flows. Ebb it and flow it. There for about a couple of years, doing chimney sweeps, learning how to mess with gas lines before you're even able to mess with alcohol. You imagine that, sending a 17, 18-year-old into a house, say, oh, go ahead and take this gas line apart and then install this fixture to make flame appear in a fireplace. It's pretty crazy. But like I said, the earlier you can subject somebody to difficult situations and hard tasks, the better it's going to make them in the long run. I'm a firm believer of that. So yeah, I jump around a lot, as you can see. I told you about fajita manufacturing, that I'm learning a little bit of Japanese. I told you that I worked for Advanced Chimney for a while. There's a lot of stories in between there, but I guess I'll give you start and finish and what my day-to-day looks like right now. So usually on a day like today, I would be working at fajita manufacturing, but yesterday I got a speck of something in my eye, and it happened around lunchtime. And I was just trying to get this speck of something out, and it just kept irritating me to the point where I was just crying out of one eye all day. So I made it through the rest of the day, and it did not get any better. It looks like somebody beat me up. Luckily, I can open my eye a little bit now, but I'm assuming that I've got a scratched cornea. So I didn't want to be crying all day at work, so it'd be the first day that I've ever not gone into work for this company. I started October 8th, and today is December 2nd, so you can do the math there. It hasn't been a super long time here at this company, but it's been okay. And so I used to make decent money, and then I got addicted to welding, and then I wanted to spend all my time welding. So I do make some metal art, but I've never had a ground up knowledge of how to weld appropriately. A lot of people will go take a class or work for a company that'll train them over a long period of time. I just invested a couple bucks in a welder and then spent the rest of my time welding. And so one of the main reasons I wanted to work for fajita manufacturing is because they said that they'd be able to teach me how to do some TIG welding, and then also get me certified for stainless. So what this manufacturing company, konnichiwa, fajita manufacturing, what we do is we make stainless steel doors for trains. It's a glamorous job, but man, somebody's got to do it. If you see them train rolling through, you'd have people falling off if it wasn't for people like me. And so my plan originally is, see if we can't make it 6 months here. And during the summer, I'm a full-time metal artist, or at least I like to believe so. I'm able to float the boat financially, definitely around July and most of the months of the summer, because people are out and about. They want to go see new places, and I am definitely off the beaten trail. My online presence was okay beginning with this metal art venture. And then it just kind of slowly took a step back from social media, from my online presence as a whole. And I just wanted to dive into what can I make out of all this scrap material. And I wanted to spend as much of my time just kind of focusing on the people around me and doing my best to grow where I'm planted. I have lived in Maryland. I have lived in California. I have lived in Chicago. But you know what they say, all roads must lead home, right? So here I am, just about 12, 15 minutes away from the house that I was born in 27 years ago. I don't need to be in LA. I used to live out of my truck for a year in LA and the surrounding area, and that was a blast. I worked on some great TV shows, some commercials, met a lot of amazing hardworking individuals. That's what I love about people. They can be a pain in the ass, but if they work hard and they do good, then they're good in my book. So a little bit of here, a little bit of there. But here I am now in Irene, sharing my thoughts to whoever may be listening. Who knows? I think this winter has a lot in store. Well, we've got this big old astronomical thing coming up. We got December 21st. Apparently all these fancy planets and stars all line up in the sky, and then you got yourself one big old star. So I was very lucky to have my fiance get me a telescope for my birthday. I just turned 27, and she got me a telescope, so maybe we can watch up close what's happening with all these planets aligning. Apparently, it's the first time in 800 years since all these planets lined up just perfect like. And I'm excited about it. I think it'd be really cool. And we got a lot of people freaking out about the end of the world, but as long as you're good with whatever guy you got upstairs, that's all you should be worrying about. Have a little faith. See, I'm not looking to be talking about a whole bunch of politics. I'm not trying to talk about how the world is ending, but I am just trying to kind of get some of these thoughts out of my head. I am my mind is an enigma. And it takes a lot of effort to kind of sort out what's going on in there. So every night when I go to bed, I get, and I mean, not even just when I'm going to bed, but when I close my eyes and I'm still awake, my mind likes to go ahead and paint pictures underneath my eyelids. So it's real crazy like. We've got a huge 30 gigabyte folder of a whole bunch of random B-roll shots with absolutely no preface, no detail, but it's just random. It's like a little picture film coming up. Here's a little B-roll shot of this. Here's a little B-roll shot of that. What B-roll is just kind of establishing an environment. You can be taking B-roll of a location, somebody getting on and off a bus. So whenever I close my eyes, it's just a random picture film. Like right now, I'm closing my eyes and I see white lilies, I think. You know, the white flower with kind of a funnel shape to it. So I don't know what that means, but I scratched my eye and my cornea done got abrased. So I'm trying to keep my eyes closed as much as possible, which I'm thinking that's why the pirates really had an eye patch in the first place, is because they got them picture films in their brain too, right? And these picture films, when you put an eye patch on, it gives you half of the real world view and then half of whatever's going on in your brain. So you got one eye closed, and that's keeping safeguard on all them files that you got up in your brain locker. And then the other eye is open to make sure you don't walk off a cliff, right? So here's my go at taking on this world with a one eye perspective. Nothing against people who have one eye. I love you all. Bill Rogers, my future father-in-law, he has one eye, and I try not to make it a big thing, but you know, sometimes I'm looking at the wrong eye. I mean, that's a compliment. They got the right match there. So sometimes you get lucky with that. Sometimes, people even put contacts in their eye just to make one of them goofy. Like I think that was a lot bigger in my younger years. Born in '93, so obviously I haven't had too many younger years. But you remember back when they were all putting them fancy little contact lenses in their eyes, making you think that either they got fucked up from birth or they paid like $30 to $80 to get an eye infection. So I don't know, man. I used to wear contact lenses. Right now I'm wearing prescription safety glasses. And I tell you what, man, if you have to wear glasses, may as well just wear safety glasses. There's a lot of stuff in this world that just wants to get all up in your eye, wants to cause complications, and just wants to be a pain in your behind. As you can tell, my corneatic abrasion is getting the best of me. So, enough about me. I definitely want to be hearing back from all the amazing people that we have out here in the internet world. I know some of you may be following me on YouTube because you remember me from my TikTok days. Now, that word is a little bit of a sensitive word for me nowadays, so I'll try to kind of get into it a little bit for you. About 4 or 5 months ago, I made a little pledge to myself. I said, all right, this is the beginning of the season for you. You know you're going to make enough money selling your metal art to at least float the summer. So let's take a full-time break from working anyone else on the side, just doing my own thing, doing the dangerous decor. And so what I wanted to do is establish a 100-day goal. I think if you put something in writing and if you have a date that you want to get something done, I'm a strong believer that if you set your mind to it, then you can get things done. So I put this $100-day goal of going ahead and becoming TikTok famous, or at least, online presence famous, whatever that may be. I guess I said 100 days to get 100,000 followers, and it was going pretty good, nice and steady. At the beginning days there, they say that if you just pump out 3 videos a day, which seems insane, but they're all just little snippets. So you're talking like a minute and 30 seconds worth of content a day. Not terribly difficult. So I do 3 videos a day nonstop for 100 days, and it was going well. I was getting maybe 1,000 followers a week. And I was making videos of my metal creations, and they were always jump cuts. The thing about TikTok is that you can record a breath at a time. So you take it, you hold down the button, you get yourself like 0.2 seconds of video, maybe 0.5 seconds of video. So I take one metal piece, weld it on, take a video, take another metal piece, weld it on, take a video, and then at the end it may be 30 seconds, 60 seconds, who knows, 10 seconds. So I would make these videos of, making a bald eagle, or just making a little floating bird, or just anything cutesy and quick. So I'd make all these little objects, make all these little videos, and it was going okay. I was getting like I said, 1,000 followers a week. But if you know the math, in 100 days, you're not going to get 100,000 followers if you only get 1,000 a week. So I would say I moved from making kind of metal art to just goofing around a little bit. I took a bench grinder. So if you know what a bench grinder, it's what's in your dad's shop. It's got a stone wheel on one side and a steel brush on the other. So I get my hands on this free industrial-sized bench grinder. It was like 3/4 horsepower, spun things at 2,500 RPM. And I would just weld up different things to a nut that fit. And then I would put that nut onto the bench grinder, and I would take a video and just see how fast I can spin this thing and what kind of crazy things might happen. And those videos were kicking it off. So I had 1 or 2 videos of me spinning something. Sometimes I would take a board, attach it to the bench grinder, and then either throw spray paint at it or, just spray paint on it while it's spinning. Very dangerous stuff, hence dangerous decorones. So from spinning things, I got just so bored of it. I would spin 2 or 3 objects a day, and those videos would get big, but I just kind of lost faith in that. I don't know why these videos blew up to the extent they did. Some of them got millions upon millions of views, which is insane. Like, all I'm doing is just sitting here spinning things. And so I kind of just mixed that spinning stuff in with making welded objects. Don't get me wrong, I did get a couple of my metal art. Like, I make a big old battle axe with a chain. That got a lot of views. But they're few and far between. Not as many people want to see that metal art as they want to see just kind of dumb stuff. And I'm part of that anti-dumb movement. I feel like if we're going to be spending time doing something, may as well spend some time learning or improving, or at least enjoying the time you spend. I mean, you're just clocked out at that point, staring at spinning images. But to each his own. So I would be spinning all these things on a bench grinder a couple times a day, and I'd be always out in my workshop Tuesday through Sunday of every week. I would take Mondays off, but still create some videos or have some videos in my back pocket that I would post on my day off. So this is a huge venture, just going full-time at it. And ever since I started this business, Dangerous Decorations on the side, I've been working 7 days straight. So sometimes I had a day job, but I'd always be open on the weekends. Sometimes I would just work a couple days a week and then be open every single other day. So it's a lot of, whenever you see my doors open, my garage door open, or smoke coming from the chimney of Dangerous Decorations, I'm open, right? But it's been fantastic. It was a great time to really just dive full into what I want to do with my life. But I just kind of felt that making this metal art and spinning things on the bench grinder, there's got to be something more, right? But, still getting maybe 1,000 followers a week, sometimes 1,000 followers a day, 1 or 2 days a week. And it was climbing. So I got around, 70,000 followers around there, and I was feeling really good about it. I was going to maybe make my goal. And then there was this kind of trend that went around TikTok that I kind of jumped onto. And that's where somebody replies to a comment and gets everyone else to comment on their video. It's one of those ways to kind of trick, quote unquote, the algorithm. So I got somebody to go onto my profile and comment on one of my videos. And I told them, say, hey, I want you to go ahead and comment. As soon as I followed you, someone gave me a free welder. That way we would kind of spark this conversation. Oh, this guy's good luck. So if I follow this guy, then I might get a free welder. Of course, that was a lie. I know this guy, he has a welder already, and he didn't get a free welder because of me. But I was able to reply to that comment in another video, and then other people jumped on the bandwagon. Hey, as soon as I followed you, this good thing happened to me. So I kind of moved from there to just kind of highlighting the good things that have happened in people's lives. Now, it's crazy. As soon as I told people to start following me, they started following me in hordes. I'll tell you, I got like 12,000 followers as soon as that kind of took off. 12,000 followers, just because people thought it was karma. They thought good things were happening to them because they followed me. And yet it was all kind of based off a lie. So the biggest growth that I saw on TikTok was all because of a lie. And that kind of made me feel bad. So what I did was, I was like, well, I'm sitting here. Let's just say for another week or two, I was doing these videos highlighting, hey, this person just got a free generator the day they followed me. And so I was just really highlighting good things that happen to people. And I kind of stressed the fact that following me didn't really do anything but boost your self-esteem. I would hide messages in the hashtags. Because it's such a short video, you got to be able to explain yourself somehow. So, like I said, all of this kind of jumped out of nowhere. Over 2 weeks, I went from 70,000 followers, over 100,000 followers. And then I had one day where I gained nearly 100,000 followers just because I told people to comment on my video and to subscribe to me. So out of nowhere, I was like, oh, this lie kind of grew is faster than the rumor weed in Veggie Tales. And that's not something I really felt all that proud about. It's, you want to be successful, but you don't want to build that success off of lies. Like that one crazy lady who fakes the deep voice because she says you can test your blood real good, tell you what kind of diseases you got up growing in you. But that's what I was trying to avoid is, or what I was trying to remedy the situation is use that lie to do some good. And so I would consider myself someone who spent a lot of time watching motivation videos or reading self-help books just to help motivate me into pursuing my dreams. It's not an easy task, especially when you made good money at one point and then you throw all that up in the air for the hopes to make some money doing what you love. And it's possible, but don't ever, try to force that on your art is to make a living for me. You always got to have a side job, but it's good to try here and there, see what's possible, because if you don't shoot, there's no chance you're making it, right? And so I saw the fact that this 200 and however many thousand followers that I got was mainly all bullshit, and I didn't deserve those in the first place. So my goal was to aim for the highest possible good. I now have a platform. I now have so many people that I could be talking to and reply to comments. People are having a rough time out there, and they're looking for anyone to kind of shed some light on their situation. So I was replying to comments like crazy, like, hey, there'd be so many people commenting, say, hey, as soon as I followed you, this happened, or now my truck doesn't start, or I got kidnapped. And then there was a lot of people that just joked around in the comments, obviously. Like I just got raped right after I followed you, and I'd try to be as on top of that as possible to delete as much of the garbage and try to keep it all positive, which is not easy, especially when you're up against a million people looking at your video and being able to spout whatever they want at it, which is totally fine. It surprised a lot of people that I replied to every comment that I possibly could. They actually felt like someone was there for them in some strange way. So a lot of people nowadays, they get their sense of belonging from the internet and from the computer and from your phone and all these social media apps. Is if you post something and it doesn't get any likes, that means nobody loves you. And we all know that's false, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't love computers, and they love you as an individual, but they don't have to know about everything that goes on in your life. It's understandable. So my goal with these 220,000 followers was to at least get a good message across. And we were coming up on that 100-day deadline. I already surpassed the point where you start making money on TikTok. You're supposed to make money after 100,000 followers, and I doubled that. So I was making a little bit of money. But it just wasn't enough. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and I could tell them something good. And so I could tell them maybe what's worked for me. What's worked for me was this book called 12 Rules for Life. And a lot of people don't like Jordan Peterson, but I mean, honestly, if you've got an hour, just watch one of his not interviews or lectures, but he's a G. And he's gone through some hard times recently, but he is a G. So what I was doing was my interpretation in 60 seconds or less of each chapter of 12 Rules for Life. Now, I would do a chapter a day and then just do my own personal view of what that was like for me personally. Finding some kind of balance in your life between chaos and order, mainly. Because we all live in a chaotic world. And if you can stand somewhere in between the chaos, and you don't want to be perfectly ordered, because then that leaves you no option for change, but you kind of want to be between chaos and order to kind of pull some things from chaos and put them in some type of order. So I feel like that was a fantastic message that I can get across to these people. And it was working decently. And I was kind of clickbaiting some of these people into watching, what I was trying to tell them. Like, some of these kids were saying, hey, that hit different. That made me feel something on the inside. And that made me feel good too. Because I was like, I started this with a lie, or at least I got the majority of my followers off of a lie. And let's see if I can, pay it forward into something better. So I was making a couple bucks. I was doing this 12 Rules for Life series. And then it hit me. There was this superstitious kind of thing going around TikTok that, if you're viewing this with no hashtags or anything, that means you've been selected for August 27th. Or I think that was the date, or whatever date it was. Apparently something crazy was going to happen on August 27th. And that was right when Trump was trying to get TikTok banned. And so I'm like towards the end of this 12 Rules of Life, and the 12th rule would have been dropping on August 27th. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm usually not superstitious. But man, I was 100 days into a TikTok binge. So I'd believe anything at that point. And sorry if you hear the noise. I got my cats wrestling on the floor. Hey, knock it off. So 100 days into a TikTok binge. honestly made me a little bit insane, because I was always constantly questioning, like, well, what is this, and why would this blow up, and what did I do wrong here, and just questioning the motives of the algorithm itself. So it seemed like the dumber or the simpler or the most inappropriate that you can make a TikTok are the TikToks that get the furthest. Now, I don't understand why it has to be that way. I really looked at TikTok like my possibility to put some kind of light in this universe where there was darkness. Hey, get out of here, you little furry frisket. You little furry frisket, go downstairs. Don't mess with me, I'll get your ass high. I tell you what, I'll get the catnip out, go send you on a craze. But yeah, I was trying to do my absolute best with the amount of people that I have put in front of me, and then those 2 dates lined up. The end of my 12 rules for life. And then I just kind of went insane. I went on a TikTok binge one night and kept watching these videos that were, I don't know why TikTok was showing me this, but TikTok kind of like analyzes what you like, analyzes everything about you, and then starts putting things in your life of situations that are happening now. So if you type in depression on your phone, all of a sudden you get all these videos about how you shouldn't be depressed. And TikTok really does that. They get into your psyche. And it was difficult, but I was watching, all of a sudden they put something in front of me. It's like a visualizer. It's a screen with like a psychedelic visualizer. And the name of the user was the same as my phone. It was like Pixel 4 or something like that. And all it was with a dancing ducky in front of like a trippy visualizer. And then I kept scrolling through all these videos. It was the same dancing ducky in front of all these visualizers playing some music. And I started seeing a pattern. There was, if you look really, really hard, you could find images in the background of this visualizer. And so I kept looking at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a good symbol whatsoever. There's hazardous waste symbol I remember seeing. Then I see, the lightning bolt for the SS. I saw that in one of them too, and then that kind of set me off. And I went mad thinking that TikTok was out to conquer the universe, and they're doing it to hypnotize all these people. So I went down the rabbit hole that night, trying to make sense of it all, what it is, why it exists, and why did I get put at 250,000 followers. I know the number just keeps going up, doesn't it? Why did I have 250,000 followers? What was I supposed to do? And so after consulting some close individuals, after making some decisions about how my life has changed in those 100 days, I told myself, just stop it, take a break. And so I deleted TikTok. And this is before I even got to the 12th day. I got it to rule 10, I think. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I feel like I was trying to send out a good message, and I think that TikTok was trying to make me go insane because they didn't want that good message on their platform. So I had like a revelation a little bit. If it's an evil platform, and it's all, who knows what's really going on, but if it is an evil platform, then I don't think I can create good on it. No matter how hard I try to make good, that there may be a possibility they could use that for evil. So I walked away from it, and I did a cleanse of electronics, social media, and just everything. I just took some time to do a detox of all of these electronic devices in my life. The fact that I wanted to be an influencer, that word, why do we choose that word? It's not a good word. Let's say under the influence of alcohol, drugs, under the influence of your peers. And that's what an influencer is. It's somebody who's paid to send a message. And, people will send whatever message you tell them to if you put a $sign on it, right? once you start making money on TikTok, they're like, okay, I want you to tell people right now how to hack somebody's email address by sending them an email. That was one of the paid promotions that I had seen on TikTok. It's not good stuff. And like I said, Trump was trying to get that stuff banned for a minute. And he really should have. But, you know, people have free will. You can do what you want. It's just, if I could put a word of caution out there, be very cautious of what evils you let into your home. I remember there was this little crackhead kid who came into my house, man. He brought me this little voodoo doll, and it's got somebody's hair on it, and he says, if I put this needle here, then it's going to hurt somebody over there. Man, throw away that voodoo doll. I don't know, bury it, take it to a priest, do what you will. But I think, and it's becoming clearer and clearer, that there's a lot of people out there that they want to get paid, they want to make money. And so, you know, money is in capitalism, money is what drives it, right? So not things are going to get done unless you start throwing some money at it. Just like, that's why we see all this advertising. And I'm lighting an incense right quick. I don't know, set the mood for this conversation a little bit. I don't know, I'm trying not to set myself on fire. But yeah, that's what commerce is pay some money, and then you're gonna get some more money. And that's what I wanted to, I don't wanna, I'm not for sale. My views aren't for sale. I would like to give you the hard, cold facts. And if I don't believe in something, then I'm not gonna tell you to go do that something. Unless it's, of course, in a joking manner. I feel like the only way to get through this life is to laugh about it, right? Laughter does a whole lot of good. Try to laugh as much as you can. Whether it's watching some comedian on YouTube back when the good days before the Cabonas hit us, this pandemia. There's a lot of good stand-up comics that, you know, they can take a bad situation and make light out of it. I think it's fantastic. So I'm kind of, you know, going off on tangents there again. Now I've got my incense lit. Kind of calms me down a little bit. It's a beautiful day. A lot of people, when they do podcasts, they want to play a little bit of music here or there, but I have no music that's royalty free, and I don't want to get this removed simply because I played a little bit of music. So what I can do, I know that I have made my own music here and there. You go to Dangerous Decorations on YouTube. There's a couple videos where I made a couple little songs on GarageBand with preloaded instruments. I made a little bit of music here and there just so that I could have some YouTube videos with some music. Now, my YouTube career just never really shot off like it should. I was making a lot of really good, quick videos there for a minute with an iPad. I was taking the iPad, you see, and I was making the videos with that, and I was using iMovie on the iPad to get them movies edited. Like I said, I got myself a little Samsung 12-year-old computer, and it's okay, but as you can see, I'm still trying to navigate thing here on the, I have to use a stone wheel to power it. It's weird. So right now I'm pedaling while I'm powering it. So let's take a scroll here through some of these videos. I made a 14-foot bird time lapse. Did I make a song for that? Did I make a song for that? I can play my own music, right? There you go. That's my transition music. I have a 14-foot bird that I made out of wicker. This is big hanging wicker chair. And I wired it all together with some lattices. Not only do I make metal art, but I make anything out of scrap materials, whether it's, you know, tires, metal, wood, whatever. So I took this this chair and I turned it into the bird from Bug's Life. Y'all remember that bird, right? It was made out of twigs and berries and leaves, and then it got set on fire by the little bastard, the circus bastard. And I'd say that bird is amazing. I made this bird, and it's hanging in my front yard, and it sways in the wind. It's fantastic. It's one of the only moving objects I've made that's still withstanding, because it's all wicker. There's a lot of holes in it, and the wind passes through it instead of taking it and then knocking it over. So I make a lot of crazy stuff like that. I tell you, man, Bugs Life, such a great show as a kid. I have not seen it in a long time, but the other day my cat was on the porch, and he tracked himself down a little grasshopper. And this grasshopper was like, oh man, I had enough of this. The kitty cat, I got two cats. One's name is Ace. And Ace tracked down this grasshopper, and he bit his booty open. Literally. He took the back half of this grasshopper off, and it was a big sucker too. Like, you know, if you get one of them mutant baby carrots, it's like the size of a baby carrot that was like big. So what I did is I got real close and I watched this happen. Not only did he bite the butt off of this grasshopper, but all of his insides. Like he may be hard on the outside, but he got some soft insides in there. Them insides were trailing behind him, and as his grasshopper was just crawling along the deck, just trying to get away, that little kitty cat, what he did was he was licking the trail behind the grasshopper, and it was disgusting. And he just kind of like, ooh, piece of candy. Like he just kept licking that trail, and then he ate up that whole grasshopper in one bite. You know, like after he was like, I'm done chasing this little slow-moving snail across the deck boards. I'm gonna go ahead and eat you. So just that crunch of a little kitty cat nomming down on some grasshopper, man. It was one of the nastier moments of my life. Those cats. What's nice? I'll tell you what, I'm not rich by no means, but the starving artist does look good on me. I have since gained that COVID-20. I got that COVID curl in my beard. My beard up here is kind of, fuzzy and stuff, so I kind of look like a hobo, but I live a full life, which means I got a fiance that cooks real good for me. And now I'm tubby. I used to not be so tubby. I used to run marathons. I've run a couple marathons before, man. I even got this tattoo here on the back of my leg to prove it. It says 26.2. And I told him put some dashes there for how many marathons I ran. So at the time when I got the tattoo, I had ran 2 marathons. So he put 2 dashes. And I was like, like tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do a diagonal. That's a tally, right? No, he puts the inches logo. That's like 2 dashes, like 2 apostrophes, and it looks like 26.2 inches. People asking me, man, what is 26.2 inches? It's me. I'm 26.2 inches. No, I used to be, I'd say after every breakup, every huge breakup, I'd go run a marathon real quick. Clear my head, clear my legs. Because if you're in pain in your legs, the pain on the inside goes away. I'm a firm believer there. If you got a lot of inside pain, put that pain elsewhere. Work out if you must. Be a good individual. Eat better. The pain of not having a cheeseburger. Man, I do miss cheeseburgers. Every once in a while, I do, get me some of that little fast food goodness. I'm trying to step back from caffeine. Trying to step back from the social media. Trying to step back from running marathons, because that's kind of miserable. But one of them marathons was a 50K. 50. That is 30.1 miles. And if you think I'm insane, I agree with you. I am crazy insane. I should not be running this kind of distance. Lordy, I'm a Great Dane. I can't be out here doing this to my body. But it was good. I think everyone should push themselves to do something that you don't think is possible, even if other people are thinking you're crazy. Because that's what gets you by nowadays is trying not to be like everyone else. Try to be that crazy guy doing all the kinds of things that people say, oh, I can never do that. Big J, man, I could never do that. I tell you what, I'd fuck up. I'd fuck up real bad. I didn't even graduate no high school, man. How you expect me to be able to do this? Guess what? You don't have to graduate high school to be able to accomplish amazing things. And there was one question that I got on TikTok that really perplexed me. I was always replying to these questions. And this guy asks, hey, I think you should have a podcast. But if you did, I'd have you answer this question for me. And his question was, what is your definition of success? And that one made me really think, because there's so many different ways to define failure. But how do you define success? Sometimes you can define success with failures. You can set yourself a goal that you know that you're going to fail, right? But that goal is lofty so that you can set yourself a benchmark. So say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get 3 acres of land harvested by hand today. I'm out there picking corn. I'm going to get 3 acres harvested by hand today. Hell, if you get 1.5 acres of corn harvested in one day, that's amazing. But if you didn't tell yourself 3 acres, you may have been like, oh, 1/4 acre today. I'm feeling good. I feel just fine about all this sweet corn I collected. But be widgets, corn, whatever. Set yourself a lofty goal that you know that you can't accomplish, but at least set your bar a little bit higher than other people's when you fail, and then you know the next time exactly what not to do. Hard thinking about a good example for you, but here's a little bit of music. This one's about the bird. I made a bird. That's right, I made a bird. I hope that audio quality was garbage for you so that you have the motivation to go see this 60-second time lapse. It's 1 minute and 3 seconds. Time lapse of me making a wicker bird. But that was going to be a transition to something else. I totally forgot what I was going to transition to. But we are at 51 minutes and 46 seconds of my voice going into your eardrums with some kind of crazy nonsense that I'm talking about. I'm talking about his tattoo that he's got on the back of his leg. I'm telling you about all this different kind of stuff. TikTok is the devil. We kind of covered that one. I don't say all social media is the devil, but I mean, like, there's a lot of bad stuff out there. And, you know, watch what you put in front of yourself. If you think that you're going to put something bad in front of yourself, go get some carrots. Get you some of that real good hummus and get to dipping. Because I tell you what, that hummus and that carrot combo is good for you, and it tastes good to you. And if you're into, you know, like self-harming stuff, grab some celery, you know, whatever floats your boat. Throw some vegetables in your system. Get you one of them gummies that has all them vitamins in it. Because you know you don't take pills because, oh, ew, pills. I hate pharmaceutical companies. Man, I don't got no health care. You're looking at a man who doesn't gamble because he gambles every single day of his life. I'm out here doing things in my garage that are considered unsafe by other individuals. And guess who does not have health insurance right now? Me. I don't care if they're going to charge me extra this tax season. Oh, you didn't have health insurance, so that's usually where we get some money from you. You should probably pay up now. Throw us a couple $100 because you ain't got no health insurance, man. It's just no fair. But like I said, I don't play scratch-offs. I don't try to stay away from slot machines because I am rolling the dice every time I turn the ignition. So I'll talk a little bit about what my whip situation looks like. I'd already mentioned Nessie, the 2008 Nissan Frontier King Cab Edition. Got them big old tires. I literally went into the tire store. I was like, sir, I'm a working man who just got a hail damage check. So I'm covered on bills, and here's $2,000 to throw into this truck. I want you to give me the biggest tires that you think will fit on this truck. So this man goes in, and he grabs them rubber tires. And he says, will this fit? To the man who works on the cars, he says no. He's like, go ahead and put it on a rim. Put it on a rim, and if it fits the truck, he's buying the tires. So he throws one on there, and he's like, hey, this little plastic mud flap is touching your new tire. You can't go get new tires and have this little plastic mud flap on here messing with your tires. So I just removed that little plastic mud flap, and we're good. And it only made some sound when I was full crank on the steering wheel. Got them big old tires. I don't know, they big. And then what else did I do? I got that front end suspension. I got them 2.5-inch Rancho quick lift suspension. The Rancho quick lift struts with adjustable ride quality. It's like, you want to ride high and dirty today? No, I want to go nice and smooth down these bumpy ass farm roads, please. Let me go ahead and tune it down, get my screwdriver out, make them shocks nice and soft. But that's just an addition. The front end now matches the rear end. 2.5-inch lift provided by Firestone airbags. Now, that was like a $350 investment, but I tell you what, you could put a Ford F-350 in the back of my Nissan Frontier. It'll still roll down the road without any squat. Those airbags are no joke. If it's the suspension that you put on a semi that's driving 1,000 miles across the earth every 2 seconds, then maybe trust it on my little Nissan 6-banger. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So, in addition to the Nissan Frontier, I also have a Ford F-150. It's a 2002. And this F-150 was given to me. You know why? It's because it was broke. Not much was wrong with it except for the fact that the frame snapped in half like a twig. So you kind of imagine them pinstripes that go down the side of the door and how they continue them same pinstripes all the way down. Nice and flat down the side of the bed. The bed in the rear was lifted up and the frame cracked in a V shape, but the whole truck still held together. It was still driving. Just every time you hit go, the bed would lift. So it was like driving a Twizzler. So I jacked this truck up. I ripped the bed off of it because that was rusted. And, well, you know, we live in the Rust Belt. And I took that bed and I took an oil tank. Well, first off, I fixed the frame. Now, it's very, very rusted material, so I took angle iron and I boxed in the whole frame and then put some, like, diagonal supports here and there. Welded it all together, stick weld real quick, dirty. Real nice. And what I did is I took an oil drum that you see in the basements. So old school houses, sometimes they don't have natural gas for heat, so they have to have oil. This is back in the day. They'd have a truck, they'd put fuel oil in your basement in like a big old 500-gallon tank that maybe some of you have had to haul out of a basement before. They're not fun. So these huge tanks, I cut one in half and then I spread it out to the width of the truck and I welded it to the frame. And so now it's got like a oil tanker kind of set up on the back. And since I put the big old piece of 3/4-inch thick diamond plate, maybe like 60 something inches by like 12 inches, that's like a nice permanent tailgate there. And then I took this other oil drum I had, cut a bunch of steel off of it, and now I've got some big old wide fenders on the back. Like, it almost deserves a dually axle there, but we all know I don't got the money for that. So what I do now, and this truck it's had a couple issues. Let's say I replaced some not the spark plugs, but the yellow things underneath the hood that attach to the spark plugs. The sparker body, who knows, the Ghibli bit. I replaced the 8 Ghibli bits under the hood, and the exhaust has a bit of a leak. So I'd say there's an exhaust manifold exhaust leak, and so when I'm driving, and if you got the air on, it pumps the exhaust manifold's breath into your face. And it's interesting. So if you're driving along for about 10-12 minutes with the windows up, you start seeing things like, oops, somebody just put a fungus in my coffee, my life has changed. Those kind of things. And then you realize, oh, the magnifold has a leak on it, and so now I'm getting all dizzy because I can't breathe. So if you don't, by the 14-minute mark, crack that window, then you might have a rude awakening in a ditch. I had a buddy once tell me a story that he used to do whippets while he drives. And he woke up in a ditch one day. Children, do not huff what is put in a can. I mean, like, if you want, go ahead and get yourself some paper, put some effort into it, make it look like you're making spray paint art, and those happy feelings will come to you naturally, but it's because you're making art and just a dash of aerosol. You know what I mean? Don't be spray painting into a bag. I mean, I'm not giving you no ideas or nothing, but you know what I mean. Take a sip of this, give you some music. There we go, get into the guitar solo. It's a big red 2002 Ford F-150 Lariat, leather interior. It's got a sunroof. It's got four-wheel drive. It's got one seat warmer. It's got 3 working windows. It's a crew cab. It's got a V8 engine. Every once in a while, the digital odometer works, and it tells me it's got like 268,000 miles on it. And so I had the Drive Safe and Save plan with State Farm. I put a dongle up in my dashboard, and they tracked how safe I drove. I was driving that rust bucket at 91% safe. I think it's because I answered a phone call once. Oopsie, big deal. And maybe I went over, 8 miles per hour in a speed limit once. So this is what this does. It's a dongle on your dashboard that hooks up to your phone and constantly notifies you and says, hey, let's go for a drive. You haven't driven me in a while. Because as soon as you enter that truck, it syncs up at your phone and you're like, oh, we driving now. You under surveillance on the road, my man. Just because of that, I was like, if I want to drive fast, I go drive that Nissan. I'm sorry, State Farm. But I have 10 years of driving experience. We're going on 11 years. Same insurance provider since the start. 0 issues, no accidents, no speeding tickets. And the Ford costs $20 a month. Full coverage. This 2002, I told him I got this truck for free. It was broke and now it ain't. And I've put like 3,000, 4,000 miles on it. Because of the COVID, I don't have no plates. But I'm really good at explaining situations like that. I'd much rather beg for forgiveness than ask for your blessing. So the truck at one point had a turret sitting in the back, so I've got this barbershop chair that I took the chair portion off, and then I mounted this electrical box with some pipes and a plate on it. Looks like a big 50 cal turret in the back of this truck, just kind of scoping things out, just kind of dancing left to right whenever I hit a bump. Every single time I take a right-hand turn, the cannon would just flip and go doom right into the side of the bed. It was awesome. So that's currently not in the back, but I've got a lot of big things in plan for the Ford. Right now I know I'm just audio and I'm not video, so if I think I might go ahead and put up some pictures of these things while I'm talking about them. So it makes sense too. If I'm not going to be recording video right now, I do have a good camera that eventually I will get things up and running. Like I said, and I'm going to rag on this computer, even though you can press play and press pause real good here and there. It's not a great computer. I'm going to rag on it all day. Lighter ain't working. Excuse me. But it's doing a lot of good. Today I went through and I removed 57 gigs from my C drive to my D drive. So I kept on looking at this little map. You go and press my computer, it shows you a map. You got a red bar, you got a green bar. You say this drive, that's a red bar. You got no space on this drive. And I'm like, well, what's this drive? You got drive D over here, and there ain't nothing on drive D. So I went ahead and copy pasted myself some information from C to D. And now the computer runs a lot better for some reason. I don't fucking understand this. But thank you, Samsung, for sponsoring this. At least with this white computer that I have. Gotta make it great, no matter what you got. So I wrote a little something today. And that's a good way to kind of segue into it. Let's see. Here we go. You don't need expensive tools. It's kind of a story I wanted to tell you, and it's an analogy. And I think of crazy analogies sometimes. I see crazy stuff in my brain, and it's not because I'm doing drugs, because I'm not real ones. But I thought of this analogy, and it's called "You Don't Need Expensive Tools." I'm going to read it to you. Now, this has not been revised. I have not even read it since I wrote it, but it's just something I wrote down. Because I force myself every once in a while, just put some words on paper or this is literally on Microsoft Note. So it's .note. You don't need expensive tools to start walking the path towards what you want to do with your life. Starting is never easy, but inevitably, everything that ever was had to be started somehow. Do you look at a river and see only a portion in front of you? Where did this river come from? So what do? You go upstream until you find the source of that river, caused by, what does the start of that river even look like? Was it a spring somewhere uphill, or are the Great Lakes crying on us? I do know some rivers are slowly, let's see. I got my eye problem, and these words are really tiny. Here, I'm gonna try to make these words bigger. Control plus, does that do something? Okay, I'll read it one-eyed. Where did this river come from? So what do? You go upstream until you find the source of the river. What does that look like? Was it a spring somewhere uphill? Are the Great Lakes crying on us? I do know some rivers are slowly dripping onto the ground. All right, I'm sorry. Some rivers are caused by melting ice from a mountain or a glacier. Imagine that. You can hold a tiny snowball and watch it melt into your hands. Caused by melting ice, slowly dripping onto the ground. Drip, drip, drip. Now expound that upon an entire mountain or a slow-moving ice cube. Take this concept now and imagine your pursuit or your dream as that river. People will think you're crazy trying to create a river in the middle of nowhere with a handful of ice cubes. To make this analogy work, let's assume your handful of ice doesn't evaporate, but it collects slowly over time. To make this river into a reality, don't look at the whole damn river, but keep looking every day for those little ice cubes you can throw in a bucket, because if you make a habit of it, there's no doubt that you'll eventually have a stream on your hands. And who knows, maybe in your travels collecting ice cubes, someone may give you an old ice machine. So who knows, maybe try to take that with you on this Wednesday, December 2nd of 2020. Trying to make a positive effect on somebody in your life. And please, if you do hear this, if you're one of those 3 people that stumble across this video, then let me know how your day was. Ask me a question. Yes, video will soon be a part of this, but until now, you get to be graced with this terrible, raspy voice. I'll be looking into some other options. Like I said, having guests. If you're in the area and all of a sudden you want to hang out with me for an hour or 2 and have a conversation, I would absolutely love to. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my sponsors are Dangerous Decoration, Nissan, Samsung, Marlboro. Get at me. Have a great day, guys. 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 Have a great day, guys.